I am here with Ron Loon, the Reverend Ron Loon. We met at Bill's house, didn't we?
Yes.
Bill Slight,
Bill
who you just saw. We met at Bill's house. Ron, tell people your name and tell them where you're from.
My name is Ron Loom, and I live in the village here, where we've been since 2010. Since then, my wife has had an accident and is in high care. And I guess my spiritual journey surrounds caring for her and finding God's direction for my own life now.
Yes. Your journey is actually from the Uniting Church. Tell us how you got from the Uniting Church to sitting opposite me in the big house. What has been that journey?
Well, it's quite a interesting story, really. I went to Norfolk Island. Norfolk. No, what's the other one? Not Norfolk. Lord Howe it was. And there, I went to worship on a Sunday at the Anglican Church, and there was this fellow there called Clive Wilson. Some of you might know him. And I said to Clive, I said, I saw a sign up about an Adventist Bible study on Wednesday night. I said, I'd like to go. Do you know anything about it? And he said, where it is? And he said, I go. I'll come and pick you up. And so here's Clive Wilson, an Adventist in the Anglican Church, and he comes and picks me up on Wednesday night. Well, how that relates here is that he came over to visit his son, and he rang me up and he said, I'm going to the college church on Sabbath. Would you like to come? I said, oh yeah, I'd love to come. So that was my initial contact through Clive Wilson 4 years ago.
Where do you find yourself in that journey? Because you've been journeying with Jesus. You've been journeying Jesus your whole life. You've been journeying with Jesus your whole life. So this is just a different season of that journeying with him. Where do you find yourself in this season of your journeying with Jesus?
Well, it's a life-changing journey because I've had the loving support of my wife for 40 years. 50 actually, and suddenly that support is not able to be there in the way it was. So I guess the image I'd use is wilderness, and trusting God in the wilderness. Only this morning I was thinking about it a bit and thinking about the decimation of my wife's natural abilities, that she can't write anymore. Her speaking is just about gone. Her ability to speak clearly. And is confined to bed. And so I could go on. Actually, there's a funny story I could probably tell you that happened yesterday. I went and had a meal with her. And I'm eating my meal, and I happen to have chips in high care, and she didn't. She had potato, and so I picked up a chip and to offer it to her, you see. And in a muffled way, she says something to me, and I said, "What'd you say, dear?" She muffled it again. I said, "Well, I'll get over and listen. What did you say?" And I listened very closely to her. I said, she said to me, "Don't wag the chip at me, it's rude." But I really thank God that I'm beginning to understand that her grace in the midst of all this decimation is a wonderful gift from God, that she's still resting in God and trusting God in spite of this diminution of her life, a lessening of her life as a person.
It's sitting and talking with you privately and personally, it's a wonderful thing to hear you talk about where she is and where you are in this journey, because you now find yourself in a whole other journey now where concerning your understanding of Jesus, your journey with community and faith community,
Yes, yes.
and where you find yourself now with this Adventist community. Tell us just a little bit about that.
Well, I felt very at home with God's people here, and I think right through our lives we struggle in the Christian churches with the whole issue of mission. And I'm sure most of the Christian groups are often very critical of themselves and why aren't we doing better and how can we do better? But there are a few things that have really inspired me. And one is that in this church, the focus on mission is germane. It belongs to what the church is all about. Too often, mission can get lost in a lot of talk about it and meetings to decide what to do. But it seems as though, thank God, mission happens here, and that means a lot. The other thing is the whole thing of kingdom life. I think Christians have to face the fact that we have to spend a certain amount of time together for that kingdom life to get flesh and blood, to throb, to touch other people. And so the amount of time we spend together is very important and is a vital part of mission happening. And I thank God that is mirrored here, you know, that mission happens and the kingdom life is an important part of that.
That's beautiful. So after 40 years as a minister in the Uniting Church, after 40 years as a minister in the Uniting Church, you know, we've talked about you hearing the Spirit of God and feeling the Spirit of God calling you to be baptized into this community of faith now. I've often wondered, how do you, because you're not learning, you're not accepting Jesus, because you've known Jesus your whole life. So for you, what is the key ingredient or the key thing about this transition now you find yourself in?
Well, I remember when I was talking to you at first, you used the expression of finding a bigger picture or a bigger, richer experience. And I think to be here is part of my following Christ. It's another step. And as I've said to others, I'm not leaving my previous Christian connections behind.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, the only way I'd say is that possibly one way of describing it would be to say that this is where my home base is, you know, but I'm still going to be available to the Lord in other ways.
Yes. That's beautiful. Let's give him a God bless you, everyone. Let's give him a God bless you. Let's give him a God bless you.